Hey guys, my name is Chris Badan, and today I wanted to show you how I went about getting these Roland V drums to talk to my computer via USB to not only transmit MIDI data, but to also utilize it as an audio interface so I can take advantage of using the headphone port for playback while I'm jamming. Let me show you how I did it. Okay, the first thing that we need to do is download a driver to get the module to talk to the computer. So if you go to the Roland website, which is eg.roland.com, then you head over to support, and it's going to do support search. So you're going to want to search your module. Mine is TD30KV. Hit enter. And we're left with two options. We are going to want TD30KV V Drums V Pro Series. Then you head over to Mac OS X, because I have a Mac. If you have Windows, go to Windows 10. Same thing. So we'll click this one, hit agree, and download file. So while we're waiting for that to download, there's a few things that we need to change in our module in order for two drum sounds not to play at once and everything like that. So on your module, you'll see a button that says setup. Hit that. You're going to want to go to the second page, which is B, by hitting F5, MIDI, and then you're going to want to go to global. Now it's probably going to be on MIDI channel, so you just hit F2, which is global. Now these are my settings here. You can see that I have MIDI in set to off, USB MIDI on, MIDI out, local control. Now this is where you're going to be turning off your module sounds, so you will only hear the module or the sounds coming out of your DAW. So that is usually there, and we'll turn it off. And this device ID was set to 16, I believe, when I was messing with it, but I think I bumped it and hit 15, but I don't think it does anything, but don't quote me on that. So once our driver is installed, you will be left with a zip file that you're going to need to extract, and once you extract that, you're going to go into the folder and have these contents. Now yours is going to say install. Mine says uninstaller just because I've already had mine installed. So you install that, next. Make sure that you don't really mess with the location or anything. We'll put it where I think is the best. And so once you do that, you're going to be asked to restart your computer. So restart your computer, and you should be able to be talking to your DAW and be using it as be able to use it as an audio interface. So in your DAW of choice, mine is Studio One 3. You are going to go to your preferences, audio hardware, audio setup in this case, and you're going to want to go to TD30. You should have an option that says TD30. Mine is on multi-output just because I am recording my screen as well as getting audio from this, and so don't pay attention to that. One other thing to note is your sample size. So you're going to want to go the lowest that you can before you start getting the little clicks and pops from buffers. Mine is set at 128. It seems to be doing just fine, and I'm not really feeling any latency or anything like that. Now the next thing that you would need to do, depending on your DAW, I need to do it with mine. So if I go over to preferences, external devices, you're going to want to add a device. Now I added it as a keyboard. It seemed to work the best as a keyboard, quote unquote. And so you'll be able to receive from TD30, and it's saying that I already have it. Receive from TD30, send to TD30, just to alleviate anything. MIDI channels, all. So then you'll be left with, this here. So now we are going to get MIDI talking to our sampler of choice, which mine is, of course, Invasion Pack by GetGood Drums. This is probably, in my opinion, one of the best sounding sample packs right now. It feels good, sounds good. It doesn't take much to mix it with other instruments and stuff like that. Especially if you get Smash and Grab in conjunction with GetGood Drums, any pack that you have, you are going to be able to mix drums like you've been doing it for years. It's going to be that easy. So In Invasion, the settings here, you want to go to settings, and you'll see that there you're left with the mappings. So there's already a mapping there, but we're going to clear that. And also, if you head over to this little eye here, click this, you're going to want to change this MIDI channel to Omni. So now we are going to create our own custom map. And so if you head over here, we're going to start with a kick. Now this has auto double kick, which is awesome. So we are going to click this. Now you got to hit it twice because it's capable of detecting two different MIDI notes essentially. And so we'll go and do the snare next. Toms. Now I start at the third tom just because a lot of the songs that I jam to, and I just like the sound of the third tom going down rather than the second going down. This one here. Okay. Now we're going to do our crashes. Now these particular crashes have two different triggers on them. And so what I'll do is I'll hit here, here. Same for the right. Okay. Now let's do the ride. I'm going to start with the bell. This actually has 3 triggers, but I use, let me show you how I do it. So I have bell, ride, and I actually use this third trigger here as a china. I'm open-handed, so got to utilize this. Sweet. So on the toms, you have 2 triggers as well. You have the center and the rim. Now I like to have some little accent splashes. I will do this one here. So I'll go over to splash. Okay. Now the hi-hats is a little tricky, but let's dive into it. So you have under the hats category, you have where it says CC. So CC is actually going to be open, not touching the hi-hat, just open twice. So it detects it. Then down here underneath the ride category, you're going to see where it says learn CC. Now this is going to be your actual pedal. So do this. That one you only have to do once. But you can see that it's detecting it now. So you're going to notice now that we have the hat kind of set up halfway, you can see here, now I'm not pressing down, but when I press down, so there's this little invert CC button here. We will hit that, but still there's something missing because if I press this all the way down, nothing. Now I can't tell you how frustrating this was to figure out. But what I've noticed and what I found out was you have to actually assign tip tight and pedal hats. So under hats, go to tip tight. First, let's hold down. We're going to hold down this, hit this, and then. So now, but now we need pedal hats. So nice. Okay, so we're pretty much set up. I mean, we got everything mapped out, and you can start playing now. Now there's a few things, a few little tweaks that I do just to make it sound, make it feel a little bit better, but also make it sound a little bit more polished. And now this is going to depend on if your PC can handle this, but there's a few changes that you can make in here just to get a little bit more polished sound. If you head over to, if you're still in the settings, if you head over to velocity curve, you're going to see, here, actually, let me see if I could just show you. Now the default doesn't sound bad, but if you turn on, you can adjust the velocity curve for each individual instrument, which is awesome. So on the snare, let me give you an example on what this does. As opposed to now, I keep mine a little bit below middle. Feels like that's a good middle ground. Well, under middle ground. And I will adjust that for the toms, the hats, the ride, and the cymbals. Now you're going to want to adjust this to your liking. Everyone hits different, and so just play through a song and adjust accordingly. You know, if something doesn't feel right, bring it down or bring it up, you know, depending on how you hit, like I said. Okay, so the next thing that I will adjust is on, the cool thing about Invasion by GetGood Drums is they have this thing called turbo mode, which is kind of like a quick mix. You can add some mixing to each individual instrument if you wanted to. Now the only one that I usually do, and again it depends on if your computer can handle this, but I'll do a little bit of the toms and I will do a little bit of the snare too. So if you go over here, you'll see turbo mode, and I will link them just so I can have it on each individual. You can see snare top, snare bottom, snare trigger, overheads. And if you don't know, I have this basically, I have another tutorial on how to set this up to do multi-outs, so you can adjust each individual instrument by themselves. And I will link that. But I will link here the turbo mode together, so then when I turn this up, you can see that it turns them all up. So, I mean, I think that's pretty much it. Those are really the only tweaks that I do. Actually, on the snare, if we go to full kit here, everything is default kit. I have everything at default. The only thing that I changed was the snare. I changed it to the Black Beauty. Just for personal preference, I like the way it sounds, I like the way it feels. But that's really it. So after that, you should be ready to go. You should be able to play drums to songs. You should be able to record your MIDI into your DAW and manipulate it however you want, and record with your band. This is actually how I plan on recording with the band and everything like that, just so we can get realistic velocities. But that's pretty much it. If you have any questions, or if you're running into any issues or anything like that on your particular device, I can try my best to help you out as much as I can. You can hit me up on Instagram, chris.badan or badan.drums. Hit me up, and like I said, I will try my best to help you out. I hope that this has alleviated any sort of issues or hurdles that are causing you to not play drums or not get better at drums, or recording drums, because I would say with this setup, GetGood Drums Invasion, Smash and Grab, and an E-Kit, you should be able to make polished albums with your band, no problem. That's exactly how my band does it. And I mean, we have stuff out on iTunes, and it sounds great. But like I said, I hope that this gets rid of any hurdles that you have, and if you have any other hurdles, any questions, like I said, hit me up. But that's it for me. I hope that you guys have a great day, and thank you for your time. See ya.